Jste všechno? Výborně. Okay. So, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today on our webinar with my friend Daniel, who is currently in Spain, actually. And today we will be talking about application process and scholarships. So my name is Hani, and I'm the Education USA advisor in the Fulbright Commission. And I actually work with high school students who would like to apply to American universities and colleges. So if we switch to the next slide, Daniel, please. Education USA provides free and up-to-date and unbiased information about study opportunities. So if you are interested in studying in the States, please, I'm so happy that you made it to this webinar live stream. And I hope that you feel free to post your questions underneath. And if you think about your questions later, just let me know, and I'm happy to answer them, or I'm happy to connect you to Danielle, who also has some experience and who can help you with your journey to the United States. Do not see the live stream on Facebook yet, but hopefully it's just on my end. Anyhow, my Education USA Center is located in Prague, in the Fulbright Commission. We do have other centers all around the Czech Republic. So if you don't live in Prague, don't worry, you can definitely visit other American centers that are in Ústí, Ostrava, Olomouc, Brno, Plzeň, and so forth. If you are in Prague, you can definitely visit the one where I am at, but you can also get in touch with me via email if you are outside of these cities that I just mentioned, and I'm happy to connect with you online. And lastly, before I turn it over to Danielle, is that we offer many free services. One of those are consultations. They can be in person or online. So again, if you have questions now, please post them underneath the live stream. I'm so happy to answer. Danielle will be answering some of those that have been posted on our Instagram story. We do have a library, so you will be hearing about the application process, and one part is, of course, preparing for some entrance exams. So we do have the most recent SAT prep books that you can borrow and learn from it. And then we have live streams such as this one. We have webinars, and we have in-person events. So if you feel like getting to know other Czech people who are applying to the United States or who are already studying in the United States, definitely keep in touch, and I'm happy to invite you. It's usually in June in Prague, and I'll be so happy to have you there so that you can do some networking and just meeting other people who experience the same journey as you will probably. If you scan the QR code down here, you will get to our monthly newsletter. So if you don't feel like talking to me or Danielle at all, I do create a newsletter that will take you step by step through the entire process. There are to-do lists that if you follow them, you can do it all by yourself, which is fine by me. And also, if you follow social media under Education USA Czech, you will also be able to kind of find out all that's there, regarding scholarships, regarding our events, regarding live streams that has been recorded. So everything is available online, and you can use it for your own purpose. And now it's going to be over to you, Daniel. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Hani, for a quick introduction. Yes, today, as Hani said, we are going to talk about application process and scholarships in the US. So quick agenda for all of you who will be watching this either in live or as recording. So today I'm going to introduce you shortly to the US education system, and we'll give you some tips on how to save your money if you are going to study in your bachelor. I will smoothly introduce you to application documents that you will need and give you the timelines for the application process. We will and discuss the difference between early and regular decisions. I will also talk a little bit about Common App, and will introduce you to types of scholarships. But before we start, I want to introduce myself a little bit more. My name is Daniel, as Hani said. I'm an international student. Originally, I come from Russia, but I study in Czech Republic right now. And as Hani said, I'm on exchange in Spain. I also studied in the United States for a year as a part of year program. That was one of the most and greatest life experience I've ever had. So any one of you who are thinking of studying in the US, please come, please go. If you have any opportunity to go on exchange program or study abroad, that's amazing opportunity. You're gonna meet a lot of fantastic people and also see a lot of amazing sites that you probably watched in different movies and TV shows. You can see here my nickname in Instagram in case you would need to ask me some questions. Short bio, I studied at the University of New York in Prague. I studied business administration. Currently, I live in Madrid as an exchange student and extensively travel all over the Europe. I love to promote the idea of international education and exchange among young people. I also blog a lot about traveling, living and studying abroad, giving you tips how to survive in different countries. I also help people to look for opportunities for self-development. And in my free time, when I have it, I also teach English to my students. So quickly moving to introduction to the US higher education system. Probably most of you know that there are certain levels of education in the US and in the world in general. Most of you who are watching are probably finishing your high school, and that is your basically secondary education with high school diploma as your achievement. And after that, you would probably jump into undergrad degree, which is basically bachelor's degree or bakalář in Czech. So in that case, you have really two options to get your education. You can jump into a bachelor's degree, which in America is basically 4 years degree. It is 1 year more than in Czechia. Make sure to know that before applying. Or you could do the thing that many Americans do as well, mostly to save time and money. There is also another way of getting your undergrad degree, which is usually called 2+2. It's 2-year associate degree at a community or junior college, where I basically studied. I studied in Whatcom Community College in Washington State. This 2-year degree is basically kind of a basic education for different people. There are all sometimes school kids that are still going to their high school and finishing their high school. So by the end of their high school, they already have their high school diploma and associate degree. I had many of those in my college. Or sometimes there are elderly people who didn't get education when they were young and right now are pursuing their basic education to get some kind of a job, promotion, or just extra skills for themselves. So it's pretty much a mix, but associate degree and community colleges are, I think, a really good way to introduce yourself to undergrad and higher education system, because community colleges are much smaller than typical universities. So there are no such thing as lectures. Usually you would just go to your normal class with like 30 people around you, and you can talk directly to the professor and they would explain you basically just directly to you, not to the whole class of 1,000 people, which I think is a great way to start your education. And those classes are usually more practical than theoretical. So associate degree is a great way, and it's less expensive than universities. So let's say if I want to go to University of Washington in Seattle, in general, as you might already know, maybe not, when you come from outside of the state, usually the tuition is twice more than local tuition for local residents. So if you're a resident of Washington, you would pay, let's say, $20,000, while when you come as an international or out-of-state resident in the US, you would pay double, for example, $40,000. And as for attending community college, it would be approximately 2 to 4 times cheaper, depending on the institution. So that's a great way for Americans and for you as well to kind of save the money during your first 2 years. After you get your associate degree done, after you get your community college, after you graduate from there, you can transfer to a public or private university already for your bachelor's degree and already confirm your major that you are going to pursue, because associate degree is usually a basic education that you would get anyways during the first 2 years of public or private bachelor's degree. Right, so those 2 last years is basically your specialization in your major. I know that Hani already hosted some kind of a session with about majors and minors, so make sure to watch that session as well. So yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
gonna jump in real quick. That's the wonderful thing about the US. You can go as undecided because I know that many people just don't know what they want to become, after high school. So going to an American university or college allows you to go as undecided, and you can decide after 1.5 or 2 years already in the university while you're trying, different courses. And it's not like a negative thing that you don't know. Like you just pick and choose
yeah,
and you
sure,
find
sure.
your way. Exactly. So if you already know what you want to study, as Daniel said, there is Let's Study Various Majors in the United States series. Check this out. It's wonderful. But if you don't know, this is a place to go. Like, especially in comparison with the Czech Republic, when you have to decide when you apply. And if you want to change your mind, it can be a little tricky. You might have to start over again. It is a little easier in the United States.
Yeah, that's for sure. But even though for associate degree, you don't have to claim the major. It could be an associate degree in arts and sciences. It could be a specific associate degree. So it really depends on what you want. But the great bonus is by the end of 4 years, instead of just one bachelor degree, you would have two. So you can put it into your CV if you're going to attend associate degree in a community or junior college. And as you probably know already, after undergrad, you have a grad degree, so which means that you're attending your master's, then doctoral. But if you're pursuing your degree, let's say in medicine or law, after your bachelor's, students usually go to professional degrees. So if you're going to be a lawyer or you want to be a doctor, master's might not be the right choice for that because you would need to pursue the professional degree. Um, but yeah, let's go to the application process, which is more practical for us than just talking about educational system in the US. So I will start with college application documents, and I divided them into two parts. On the left, you can see the documents that are pretty much general for any kind of application when you're doing that. On the second part, it's more of a academic related and institution related documents that you would need to apply. So let's start with the left one, passport basically as a travel document. Please make sure that you have a passport before applying because the Czech ID or Slovak ID, it wouldn't work. So you need the travel document to go to the US, so to put the visa somewhere. Then some universities would probably ask you, and the US Embassy as well, if you apply for American visa, they would need a proof of funds that you will be able to cover your stay and your tuition at the university. So that's kind of a bank statement or confirmation from a bank that you have a certain amount of funds, but not necessarily, not all the universities ask for that. Then, okay, of course, resume or CV, as you already know, basically claiming your volunteering experience, educational experience. Maybe you don't have working experience at all yet because you just finished your high school and you want to attend bachelor degrees. So they would understand that you don't have working experience. But if you do, also mention that in your CV. And if you have some kind of cover letters or work experience letters or recommendations from your employers, also try to attach them. Also, if you attended some kind of conferences or did some volunteering and you have some certificates of your extracurricular activities, that would be a great plus to attach as well. And in the end of your application, you would also need to pay some kind of a fee, around 70 to 100 usually dollars per application. And you would have application confirmation copy that you would need to attach. As for academics, if you're applying for bachelor's, you would need evaluated high school diploma. So as you might know, Czech education system could be different, much different than the US one. We even have different grades. So in Czech, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. In America, it's A, B, C, D, but also the GPA starts like the highest is 4.00. So while in Czechia, the highest is 100, sorry. So you would need to evaluate that for applying to the American institution. But if you don't have your high school diploma yet, it's okay to apply without it. You would just need to show some transcripts from your high school with the number of hours, with your grades, everything related to your school experience for the past years. Could be
Exactly. It's for the past 4 years. So you are usually applying when you are in your junior year, which is your third year of high school. So you show all of the transcripts 1, 2, 3, and then once you actually send out your application, then you kind of again translate and show them your diploma, your maturita, leaving exam, because you need to have it in order to be able to start a university. Yeah.
Yeah, and same works for master's degree. If you're applying for a master's degree, for grad degree, you would also need to evaluate your bachelor degree diploma. And same goes with transcripts. You would need to to present your transcripts also translated into English and in the grade system of the United States. Then I put letters of recommendation. You usually are asked to present at least 2 letters of recommendation from either your professors, teachers, or someone who knows you really well from the professional point of view. So make sure to find those people who can recommend you and give you the best recommendation, so the university would actually accept you. And then there are some kind of essays. It could be different types of essays. It could be essays that the university would provide you a topic and you would need to write it down. But usually they also ask for a statement of purpose or a motivational essay where you would need to write your motivation. Why are you going to that particular university? Why are you pursuing that kind of degree? What is your story? Basically, some kind of interesting background that you have, and why are you going to the United States as well? Then you would need to present the results of international exams and American exams as well. So international exams, by that I mean English tests such as TOEFL or IELTS. In the US, TOEFL is more common. Sometimes they also accept Duolingo, but TOEFL is a must-have for for any student. I passed it twice in my life, so good luck with that. TOEFL basically measures your English level in 4 different forms. It would be reading, writing, listening, and speaking. They changed the exam recently, so you would have an opportunity to pass it in approximately 2.5 hours, I think. And you can also retake it. You can have one part being retaken. So let's say if you failed some kind of speaking or listening, you can retake the part and attach the new results to your certificate, so you would have higher chances to be accepted. And as for bachelor degree, you would need to also pass, as Hani said, SAT or ACT. And for your master's degree would be GRE, GMAT. If you're going to be a lawyer, LSAT, and for medical, it will be MCAT.
I'll jump in real quick. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'll jump in real quick. As for the essays, because sometimes this is a scary part, you know, like we are here to help. I'm sure that your English teachers are also happy to help. But if you are not sure or you don't want to share this with your teachers, feel free to reach out to me or to Danielle. Here at the Fulbright Commission, we have this amazing cohort of American students who are here for 1 year teaching at Czech high schools, and they agreed to become your essay buddies. So if you're working on your college essay, I am happy to provide you with a student from a similar university that you're applying to, from a similar background, major. And this person can help you polish and, like sugarcoat your essay so that it's the best that you can provide. And
That's
similar
really a
with,
great opportunity, by the way.
yeah, right?
I really miss that.
That's really cool. And also, like, if you keep track on our social media, I do have SAT, TOEFL, GRE, and one more prep workshop. So if you're not sure what to expect, I'm happy to provide you with resources, but you can also attend this workshop and I'll go through the strategy. I'll show you some examples and you can ask questions and so forth. So feel free to, again, it's free. So just, join and I'm happy to walk you through those exams because it's not something you are or you can experience in the Czech high school environment. So definitely take advantage of these resources here.
Hey, that's really a great opportunity, and I think you shouldn't miss it out. And we are jumping to our next part, which is basically the timeline. This is very in advance timeline for you. So you would have a lot of time for you to prepare. I would recommend you, highly recommend, to start preparing your application at least 1.5 years before starting your degree, which means that 18 months before August or September when you go into study. So let's say you're graduating this academic year and no, actually next academic year. If you're graduating next academic year, you would need to start now with your application process. So next August, not this year, but 2025, you would already have everything done and being accepted to the school and be able to travel to the US. So 18 months, it's my timeline that I would recommend. You don't have to follow it, but
I totally agree. And I second this. Please start early. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Reach out to me when you are in your junior, meaning your 3rd grade of high school. When you reach out to me once in September in your graduating year, I'm going to be like, nope, sorry, like it's way too late. So I am usually working with people who are in the 3rd grade and 3rd grade of high school, and it takes us a year to get everything ready, honestly. And this is the way how you get everything perfect. You have plenty of time to retake your exams and so forth. So as Danielle says, start early. Yeah.
Well, I was able, to be honest, to collect the documents, like the general documents of the essays and recommendations and so on and so forth, and translate everything for the US in 2 weeks. But that was the hardest time of my life. So I won't recommend you to do that. So 18 months before starting your education in the US, I would recommend you to start researching colleges and university programs that you would like to attend. Again, you don't have to claim a major, but at least to try to find your university, your institution that you want to go to. See different ratings, see different websites with the search based on different criteria. I'm pretty sure that if Hani wants, we can also talk about this, or maybe you have a future session like how to search a college or a university for your degree. But basically, there are different criteria, starting from scholarship, ending with the place where you want to live. So let's say some people want to go to Chicago, some of you want to live by the Pacific on the West Coast, some of you want to go to Miami. So it really depends on your criteria, your own criteria and basics, but try to start researching 18 months before. Then also, when you research, you kind of understand what kind of exams you would need. You go to admissions link of the university and you see that they need TOEFL or Duolingo or IELTS and ACT, for example, or SAT. So you would need to register for those exams anyways and try to make it in advance so you have the dates, because there are many students who are applying for those exams, and you would need also to take that. So sometimes the dates cannot be available. So you would need to register in advance. And keep working hard in school for your GPA. I will tell you later about the academic scholarships and why it is important to maintain your GPA. But if you have the opportunity in your third year of your high school to increase your GPA already, keep working hard, because the acceptance rates and the scholarships really depend on your GPA.
Here, I would jump in again real quick because GPA is not very common at Czech high schools. Not many schools have GPA. So for you guys is to really keep very good grades, 1, 2s, because when you kind of count, if you can find a calculator that is going to count your GPA out of your grades. But you don't have to do that. You can, like throughout the application, you can just say like my school didn't do GPA. But for your own sake and for your information, you can count it through these calculators. I'm happy to send a link. There are free. There are some free sources, but GPA is basically.
Maybe we want to comment on what GPA is.
Yes.
So it's like an average grade that you have in your school at the end of your degree, usually, or like for the past few years, as Hani said before. So you would need the average degree, average grade that you have for all of your classes. So let's say for informatics you have 1, for mathematics you had 2. So the average would be 1.5 in Czech system, but in America it would be different. It would be 3.5, for example. So you would need really to increase your grades, even if you don't have like average system in your school, still work hard on it because the academic excellence is important, especially when you're a school kid. While applying for masters, it could be a little bit less relevant because most of you would be studying and working at the same time of bachelor's degree. So you can, for example, in your cover letter or in your motivational statements, you can say that, okay, for the past 2 years of my bachelor's, I worked hard. So my GPA a little bit went lower, but like you can present that you're a really good student and at the same time you're a hardworking person. So for your master's degree, it might be not as relevant as for your bachelor's, but still try to maintain a high GPA. Okay, going next, 14 to 12 months before. So almost 1 year before you are supposed to start your studies. Choose the schools to which you will apply. So this is the moment where you already are sure about the schools, where you already found your perfect school and when you already found your plan B. If you really want to pursue the American degree, I would recommend you to have at least 5 to 10 options, where top 5 would be your most preferable schools, and the other 5 would be a plan B option. So for example, some kind of a program that you might want to research, but at the same time, you're not sure if you want to pursue that. Or some university with a higher acceptance rate than the top 5, for example, but at the same state that you wanted to study, why not? So it really depends on your criteria, but please make a list of at least 5 universities to which you want to apply. Some people even say 8 to 12. Again, it really depends on how much you're confident in yourself, and keep in mind that you would need to pay a lot for the application fees. So don't be crazy with 20, 30, 40 universities, because that's, first of all, a lot of money. Second of all, a lot of time of applying to those universities. Okay.
For sure. Like I have worked with students who apply to 17 schools and I support them and I read their essays and it's wonderful. I can help you because in some cases you can get a fee waiver, application fee waiver, so you don't have to pay for the application. So I think the Common App allows you to send up to 20 applications, but it takes a lot of time and there are a lot of writings, a lot of essays. So I am happy to go through your list with you to select those schools who are very competitive, as well as that are, like there are some schools that are going to be your safe schools, safety schools. So we can make the list together, do some kind of like pre-research, and I'm happy or Danielle can go through it with you. Yeah, just make sure that you start early, especially if you know you would like to apply to many schools so that you kind of are on track with all the requirements that you will have to accomplish.
Also talking about research and the fee waivers, sometimes when you are not sure about the school, they have fairs, either offline. I'm not sure if in Czech Republic they host those kind of events, but they usually do it online as well. So they have open days, they have online international or just like school fairs in the US itself. So you might want to join them. It's usually over Zoom or any other platform that they work with. And sometimes when you ask good questions, when you participate a lot in those kind of fairs, they can also give you a fee waiver for your application. So make sure to try to use that thing as well. And yeah, in those kind of timelines, you would also need to prepare for your exams and take all your entrance exams. So as I said, like TOEFL or SAT or anything that the university will be asking you. The next will be 1 year / 10 months before studies at the US. If you miss any kind of forms, if you miss any kind of recommendations, right? Or some kind of forms from your school, or I don't know, anything lost from your exams, re-request those forms. So you would have better to have 2 copies than 0. Again, identify your references. I would say that if you have your references already, it's okay in advance, but sometimes you would need some extra references, plan B kind of, because the closer it is to the deadline, the busier people are. And sometimes the person who would write a recommendation letter for you might have an excuse and kind of miss the deadline or the opportunity to write you that letter. So make sure to have a plan C, D, E, F option that might write a recommendation letter instead of your option A and B. Request school transcripts for your application. So the more up to date they are, the better. And write your application essay. So as Hani said, they have the support at the EducationUSA Czech Republic, or if you're based in Slovakia as well, you can go to your American centers in Slovakia. And we would be, I also try to help students to write their application essays, or at least to give them the idea of what they can write there. Try to express yourself, try to say your story about yourself, and basically what I said before, you would need to write why you are going to pursue that degree in that institution. 10 months before, if you have some exams, TOEFL, SAT, unsatisfactory, and you think that maybe you want to retake an exam, that is the timeline when you can. So make sure to retake the exam if you want, but make sure to keep everything in the deadlines, so you would not miss at least the regular decision. Line up all the required financing, so you would need to make sure that you can finance your education, finance your stay. If you have your own money, it's great. If you have your family supporting you, it's also great. Sometimes you also can apply for scholarships, but not all the universities will give you the answer before the decision. So some of them would tell you after their decision if they accepted you, if they can give you a scholarship or not. So try to look for extra scholarships not related to the institution. It could be from governmental organizations, it could be from local organizations, it could be private companies. I will talk more about scholarships later. And yeah, 10 months before, if you're going with early decision or early action, you should submit your college applications. If you go with regular decision, it could be a little bit later. But if you want to avoid your stress in your last year of high school, you better make it by the 1st of November, the year before you're supposed to study. You had anything to comment or?
No, I was just going to add that, and I forgot, can you go one slide back?
Yeah.
Yes, oh yeah, about the financing, that we are very lucky in the Czech Republic to have foundations that you can also apply for scholarships. It's only for Czech citizens, so if you are a Czech citizen and you're going to study abroad, it doesn't have to be the US, it can be all around Europe. You can apply to Czech foundations for financial help. There is also like this process when you have to apply, you have to write a motivation letter. But if you are in that position, reach out to me. I'm happy to provide a list of these foundations, because there is nothing better than to get a scholarship from a university, financial help from the foundation, and it's not going to cost you anything, or you will only have to pay for your plane ticket. So, that's a wonderful start to your US studies. So just take advantage of
Sure.
everything that we provide. Yeah.
And if you have a double citizenship, you can get use of both of them usually. So you can apply for those foundations. Let's say if you have double citizenship in America and Czechia, you can apply for foundations both in Czechia and in America for financing your education, or sometimes even your stay at the university. Some foundations even give scholarships that covers your stay and give you some extra allowance. They also pay for your plane tickets, for your visas, service, and so on. So make sure to research all the options that you have. 3 months before going to your university already, you get accepted, you're very happy, you finished your high school, you're getting your graduation. That's the time when you apply for your student visa. So you collect all the necessary documents from the institution that accepted you. You would need your forms. You would need to schedule um, the visa application process at the embassy. Yeah, the appointment, the interview with the Czech consulate. You would also need to research your health insurance options for your time abroad. Make sure to have health insurance before entering the US. That's very important. Health, unfortunately, is very expensive part of our life in the US. So make sure to have a proper health insurance. From my experience, make sure to have your dental kit being included in the health insurance. And yeah, make travel arrangements for when you arrive in the US. So basically buy your plane tickets, make sure that you get to your place where you live, to your campus and so on. So you would understand basically everything in advance, how you're going to make it, and your parents wouldn't worry about you. And 1 month before starting your education in the US, you still need to figure out the important things. You need to consider everything before leaving. I would recommend you to also sign some kind of notary agreements with your family in case you are not in the country, but they need to do something instead of you. I would highly recommend you to do that. Also, collect all the important documents as you can. If you need some kind of some countries need some kind of approval from the government or some stamps or anything else, please make sure to collect everything that you have to 1 month before your departure. Final preparation for your trip to the US. So make sure to say goodbye for all your friends. For your family would be an interesting but also hard part of your life. Collect your belongings and yeah, just figure your ways to get ready for your classes before arriving. And that would be an amazing journey. That's very exciting and fantastic part of your life, because at some point you change your life completely and you start over, and you're gonna come to a different country, but at the same time it's very exciting. Like it's basically another experience, and it's your try to start life over.
This is a wonderful summary, and I'm sure that there will be a timeline as well, but I just wanted to add that you guys who are here with us on a live stream, I know this may be, far ahead for you, some of you. Don't worry, you don't have to remember all of it. There will be a recording, and also Education USA usually have pre-departure orientation. So when you are accepted, usually it happens in June. I get you all together online and I walk you through all the documents, what to get ready, how to prepare, like you land in the US and what to do with your phone. Like suddenly you're not online. So I cover all of these bits and pieces. So don't worry. I know it's a lot. It's, as Daniel said, it's like your life changes completely. It can be scary, but it's also wonderful. It pushes you forward. It makes you grow. So just, I will be here throughout the entire process and I'll take you through, all the steps that you need to know before you land to the United States. So don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you didn't get down all the things that I said before, this is a review, short review for you. You just can screenshot this. So basically, again, reviewing everything I said year and a half before starting your education in the US, research your options, register and take all your necessary exams, 10 to 12 months before, gather application documents and recommendations, write your application essays, get your help from the Education USA. And if you're going through early decision or early action process, submit the applications. If you're going with the regular decisions, you can do it a little bit later, usually by middle December, middle January. When you get accepted, apply for your student visa, get the health insurance, and arrange your travels. That's pretty much it. Okay. I talked a lot about early action, early decisions, and regular decisions, but what is that? Basically, it's three kind of processes, three kind of applications that you have an option to go to. Early action is in the table EA, early decision ED, regular decision RD. So as you can see in the first two, when it says early, that means that deadline is early. So you would have less time to prepare your documents for the application to the university. But at the same time, I want to say that that means that not as many students are ready for that application. That means that there would be less students to compete with, and that makes your chances to be accepted to the institution higher. When you get the notification about the acceptance is usually mid-December, mid-February. So when you have the decision from the university. Now, what is binding? There is no and yes. For early action, when you apply through early action, that means that you don't have any obligations if you get accepted. While early decision can be prioritized to the students that they are applying early, that means that you have a school. Let's say, for example, you have top 5 schools and first of them is Harvard and you really want to go to Harvard and nothing else. So if you get accepted, you're pretty sure that you are not going anywhere else. Now you can go through early decision. That means that if you get accepted to Harvard University, you would need to attend that university. You kind of sign a contract where it states that if you get accepted, you kind of cancel all your previous plans to any other institution, and you basically would have to notify other universities that you're not going to attend them, and you go directly to the early decision university that you get acceptance from. This is a bit tricky sometimes because maybe you wouldn't be able to finance your education in the early decision university. So make sure to be very confident about going to that university and applying through early decision, because sometimes there could be some clashes and some problems that would go through. Of course, universities can go towards you and let's say transfer the start of your academic year in a year, so you would have a gap year or something, or if you have some family problems or medical problems, they would help you as well with that. But if you just decided that you're not going to Harvard anymore because some friend of yours told you that, sorry, that's a bad school, and you just decided that, well, you might have some circumstances, some sorry, consequences that with early decision. So make sure that you're confident about that school if you're applying through early decision. But you can always apply through early action, which means that you have less pool of students to compete with, but at the same time, you would need to prepare your documents in advance. And regular decision, basically, the deadline would be, as I said before, mid-December, mid-January, and you would have your notifications in mid-March, mid-April approximately, and you're not obligated to go to any university that you have been accepted, as with the early decision. Now you can see the kind of table of pros and cons of everything, as I said. So for early action, it can reduce your stress as a pros. It provides you more time to plan for college, but at the same time, there are cons that you have a shorter application window. For early decision, higher ED acceptance rate, but at the same time, better odds of being admitted, but at the same time, could make your flexibility less. And as for a regular decision, it would could give you more time for your application, but at the same time, increased competition with the larger applicant pool. Okay.
I do have a question here. Going back to that early decision, we received a question via Instagram, and it was actually asking about a scholarship. So the person is asking that if he gets a full scholarship when applying through ED, because he says that, of course, he will apply for a scholarship, even though they're sending their early decision application. And since the decision is binding, is the school required to provide you with the finances that you asked for when they are making you kind of, fulfill the agreement of starting that school if accepted?
It really depends on the school, and it really depends on your finances as well. Some schools would ask you to give them a proof of funds, and they would be able, maybe if it's a big school, to cover the rest of your expenses that you're not able to pay. But at the same time, they are not obligated to cover your expenses. If you apply with the early decision, that means that you are confident that you would be able to cover your tuition and to attend that university, and you have research all the options for your scholarship in prior, and they are not obliged to say you yes to give you a scholarship. So that really doesn't obligate any university. It just obligates you to attend it. So again, be careful with your early decision. Now, application submission, it could be made through two ways. It could be university's own application, or it could be through Common App. So through Common App, it means that there is a certain system that you could use for your application. You can get your information in one place and send to different institutions, which is great, because I said if you have 20, 30 options, they could reduce the time of your application, but at the same time, not all the institutions are using Common App. So make sure to research that as well. Some universities, they would use their own systems or other systems that are similar to Common App. Okay, as I'll try to go through scholarships as fast as possible, because I've talked a lot. So for the scholarships, you have academic scholarships, which means that they depend on your GPA, your academic excellence. The higher your grades are, the better. These kind of scholarships could be different. It could be provided by the institution, by the school. It could be local organizations like city, state, county, or local associations, foundations, or it could be federal. Really depends on your GPA and sometimes on your citizenship as well. So make sure to maintain it high to be able to get that academic scholarship. If you're good at sports, you can get an athletic scholarship, which means that university where your sport is played might want you to participate as their team member, and partially or maybe fully cover your expenses for tuition at that university. But at the same time, you would need to maintain satisfactory academic performance. Make sure to do that as well. There are also sometimes scholarships. There are lots of scholarships that you could get, but there are scholarships also for extracurriculars, which means that you have some unique interest and that university is sponsoring those kind of interests, or like you're gonna present the university in some kind of competitions in that interest, such as dance, acting, drawing, I don't know, Boy Scouts, golf, whatever. They can give you a scholarship as well. It could be a small amount, it could be like a grant one-time scholarship, but it could also could be like 50% or 100%. It really depends again on the institution. Student-specific scholarships.
Okay, I'm not muted anymore, hopefully. There are some student-specific scholarship, meaning that if you are a first-generation student, you can first-generation US student. That's a place for you to ask for a scholarship, or if you are Hispanic, or if you are other. I think we have him back, so I'll let him talk.
Yeah, I'm sure. Sorry, I just my laptop died immediately, and I didn't have a choice. Could you maybe share the presentation yourself? Because I'll participate from the phone.
Oh, you have it on the phone. So let's see. I probably have it downloaded. Okay. No, I cannot do, because I am recording, so I cannot do it.
Okay, no worries. I'll try to do it myself. Just give me a minute, please. Sorry.
That's life. So
yeah.
But this was a very interesting topic about scholarship, and as you mentioned that there are academic scholarships, so that really implies that you working hard at high school will pay off eventually. If you're really doing great at a certain sport, we are happy to work with you for an athletic scholarship or other sports scholarship, because that's a really nice way to go to the United States. It will allow you to do the sport and do the academics both on a very high level. Sometimes some schools offer a tuition waiver, meaning that you wouldn't have to pay a tuition if that school offers it. So it's wonderful that there are opportunities. Now it's up to you to research the universities and colleges and see and choose those who offer some financial aid to you. So I am happy to help you with that. There's also a website that is called Lendelu that shows very generous universities in the United States. So if you are interested in that area, I am happy to share the website with you. And it shows like how much does it cost at the university and how many scholarship in that amount they have distributed among the students. So there are tons of resources, and definitely create a list that features the schools that you would like to attend, that has your major that you would like to study, but then cross-check it with a list of very generous schools as well. So those are two very important aspects of your education in the United States. Okay, and I
Honey,
think
can you tell me, please, if you see the presentation again?
I do. It is it is a little, it's like a PDF. Can you maybe like switch your screen, or can you turn your screen so that we see it bigger? We see it, but it's very small.
Like this better?
Uh,
Or not really?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's better. No, it's better.
Okay.
Okay, maybe it just took time, but it was better that way. Yeah.
I see.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so I'm gonna finish with the scholarships now.
Perfect,
So
thank you.
we
One
talked.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So that's the student specific, yes.
great. So with the student-specific scholarships, that could be also scholarships that give you the opportunity to study in the university, but based on your some kind of specific experience that you had in your life. So, for example, there are sometimes religious universities, Catholic, Protestant, and so on. And if you are actively involved in a faith-based community and pursue religion-based college courses, sometimes there are foundations or the church itself, because the church in the U.S. is very developed, and they have lots of support for students that are actively involved in the community. So they sometimes can give you a scholarship as well. There is first generation scholarships. So if you're the first person in your family to attend college, you may qualify for specific scholarships as a first generation. If your family has never had anyone who attended undergrad or grad degree. Legacy scholarships, that means that if some of your parents have ever attended a certain university and you're going to attend the same university, that means that they are able to provide you usually some kind of discount. It's not really a huge amount of money, but it's some kind of discount for you as a family member of an alumni who attended the same institution. There are also identity-based scholarships. There are many different types of identity-based scholarships because all of us are different. And those are just examples. That's not limited to the list of the scholarships. But as Hani said before, there's Hispanic heritage scholarships. There's African American types of scholarships. Some universities want to get more professionals in certain areas, so they sometimes want women to go there because there is, for example, shortage of workers. So they want to attract women to certain how you would say majors. There is also identity-based LGBTQIA plus scholarships or scholarships for people with learning disabilities or physical disabilities. There are many different types of student-specific scholarships, identity-based. So maybe you will be able to find yours again on the website of the organization or of the institution that you are going to attend. Then we have need-based scholarships, which means that if you don't have enough money to finance yourself and you have some kind of a problem, you might ask the institution or the federal authorities to get your a need-based scholarship to partially maybe to partially cover your expenses, your tuition. Yes. So you would need to demonstrate financial need. It is usually made through FAFSA. It's free application for federal student aid website. It could be local application again. So like with the example of Common App and university application, it could be different. So make sure to research that too. And some companies also provide scholarships. So I know for sure that in America, for example, when you work for a fast food chain like McDonald's or Taco Bell, let's say, they provide employer scholarships for their workers to give them some kind of a bonus for working hard. So some students go like to work 20 hours. That's what you are usually approved by the law to work. So they usually go part-time to work, and sometimes employers cover some kind of part of tuition, or again depends on the scholarship. Maybe it could be a full ride for your tuition. So maybe if you work already or you have your bachelor degree and you're going for your master's, and you have your employer who is willing to provide you a scholarship, so you would have some extra knowledge, extra skills, and you return back and work, or at the same time work partially and study partially, they might also be interested to provide you that employer scholarship. And yeah, I know there are a lot of scholarships, but those are the last three I'm going to introduce myself today. So military scholarships, if you or you know any other students maybe from the US as well who served in the US Armed Forces, they can contact the Reserve Officer Training Corps officer to learn about the options of military scholarships. There are also scholarships based on major, specifically in STEM. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. So basically, if you go to that direction, there are sometimes scholarships specifically for those majors. It could be very specific to a particular group, for example, for minority students, or for, as I said, based on identity, maybe women, maybe elder generation, and so on. So it really depends. You have to research all the options. And sometimes schools want to get more students in a very specific major. So let's say there is some major that is not really popular, but the school wants to maintain that major. In that way, the department of the school can ask for a scholarship based on the major to attract students to come and study that. To be able to cover the expenses for their studies, so there will be more professionals in the world in that kind of major. Okay. Oh yeah, alternatives to scholarships. If you haven't got your scholarship, it's not a big deal. You still can, again, ask for financial aid. You can get a grant. There are lots of competitions in education sphere, in science sphere, in working sphere. If you're going for a master's degree, I want to tell you that when you're applying for master's, there's much more and a bigger chance of you getting a scholarship to cover your tuition for a master's degree than for bachelor's. But at the same time, there are plenty of bachelor degree scholarships as well. So you can get a grant. Also, it could be maybe like a certain amount of money that covers maybe your first year of studies or first semester of studies. It's also great to be able to support yourself. Also, you can apply for loans. That thing is very common in the US. Many students take loans because they were not able to cover their tuition yourselves or with their family finances, or to get a scholarship, so they can take a loan. Federal student loans give more perks and bonuses, let's say. They have repayment plans, income driven. They have loan forgiveness programs. Sometimes they don't require credit checks. So federal student loans are much better in this. But if you didn't get the federal student loan, you can also take a private one from a company or from a bank. Those are less flexible, and they usually ask for a credit check before, but at the same time, it is also an option if you really want to pursue your education. Now, I think that would be it for the scholarships part. If you have any questions related to the topic that we talked today, basically the application process, the scholarship types, the scholarships that you maybe know, specific scholarships that you would like to ask maybe something. Feel free to reach out in the comment section. Also, if you're not live right now, but you're watching a recording and you want to ask a question, you can ask me or Honey your questions by the email, or you can also write us in the social media. Here on the slide, you have the contact information of us. So yeah, Honey, do we have any questions?
I do have two more questions, actually three.
Okay.
So one of them
Okay.
was kind of answered throughout the presentation, and it was about the importance of having a good GPA, good grade at high school. So as you learned already from Danielle, it is super important for even getting academic scholarships. So being productive and being active throughout your high school is, is great, and it's going to pay off eventually. If you are already in your junior year or in your sophomore year and you know that your first year just didn't turn out great, please don't give up. Like, if there is a progress in your grades, you can still make it, So don't just be like, okay, I had a 3 from chemistry, like I'm done, I'll never get it. That's not how it works. Like, Danielle walk you through all the parts of your application, everything counts. So don't worry, it's good if you have good grades, but it's not the end of the world. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. In Europe, there is an approach where you just see the documents and you just count the numbers. In America, there is a little bit different approach. They combine everything about you. So when they, for example, read your story, your motivation, essay, your statement of purpose, you would maybe showcase down why you have your GPA lowered at a certain amount of at a certain period of time. So they might understand why you have a lower GPA, but at the same time, you might showcase that you went through those problems. You get through them. You're a champion now, and basically you do a lot of things right now. You boosted your GPA for the past few months. You work hard, you volunteered as well, you have your working experience, you have your science project, and many other things. So everything, and that can also be shown case by the recommendations. So with your recommenders who will be writing you the letters, they can also prove the committee, the admissions office, that you are a great student to be accepted. So even if your GPA is not that high, keep working hard on it. And of course, it's relevant, but not everything depends on it.
Okay, correct. Yeah, awesome. One other question was, can I choose any school? So yes, of course. We here at Education USA are not biased. So if your dream is to study at any institution in the United States, and you can choose from over 4,500. So there are plenty of schools in the United States you can choose from. We don't have any contracts with only like Harvard and University of Arizona and then one in Iowa. It doesn't work like this. So you can definitely choose any schools. I'm happy to research them with you. You can also use Big Future search tool where you can search based on your location that you would like to study at or major. So that's a nice start for you. And the last question that we got through our Instagram questions was how do I start? Please, as early as possible, and just text us. Send me a DM on my Instagram account and just say, hey, I saw this live stream. I am interested. I don't know where to start. We are here, both of us. We are happy to answer your questions. It's free service, so take advantage of that. Don't worry, no secret payments, nothing like that. Education USA works free of charge. So we will take you through the steps slowly. I'll explain everything in Czech. I am Czech, I can speak Czech with you. I can explain it to your parents. So we are here to help. Just get in touch and start as early as possible. So this is
Yeah,
gonna be all from
that's the
us.
main
Yeah.
secret. Just
Yeah,
start
yeah.
early as possible.
Awesome, but thank you so much for joining today. Thank you for the questions. Daniel, thank you for, preparing this whole presentation and even making it work with your computer that died on us, so thank you again. And if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you and bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. See ya.